Hi there. My name is Tara Landis. I'm the founder of Bellrock, and I wanted to take this opportunity to welcome you to this training program. We are thrilled that you're going to be joining us over the next few months, where we're going to cover all sorts of tools, practical information that you can take back to work and use right away. More than anything else for us at Bellrock, it's about giving you the methodology and tools that you can use. It's not all theory. This is about stuff that you're going to be using every day. And so we've got three goals really for this training program that I wanted to share with you. One of them, the first one, is to go through the foundational principles of management, to really just talk about what a manager is. You know, most people, when they get promoted to manager, they get promoted there because they were really good at being a technician, at being an individual contributor. And because they were so good at that, the bosses, the powers that be say, hey, you know what? We're going to make you a manager. Maybe you can get all these other people to be as good as you. But what they don't necessarily realize is that management is a very different practice than whatever the individual contributor whatever the individual contributor role is. And so what we want to do is actually define what being a manager means. What are the things that they do all day? What are the expectations for a manager in any industry, in any field? So that's one goal. Figure out, what does a manager do? The next thing we want to do is give you the practical, proven tools and have you actually apply them and use them. Not all tools work for all people, but we want to give you a really robust toolkit so that over time, as things become needed or necessary, you can pull them out of that toolkit and use them. And our third goal is that we want you to be able to share experiences and learnings in each of these workshops. And that's why we're going to have lots of breakout rooms. This is going to be very interactive. Don't think you can just sit back and listen, because we're going to be expecting you to participate in everything that we're doing. So as we go forward in the program, there's just a few expectations that I wanted to put forward for you. One expectation we have is that you'll come prepared. So you'll actually do whatever pre-work is assigned. For this first session, it's just the pre-work is to figure out how you're going to introduce yourself, but you'll see that more in the email, and to figure out what your goals are for this program. We also want you to print the package when it comes to you. The first one was sent to you in an email for class number 1. We'd like you to print the other packages so that you have an actual binder, in a real world binder, not just something on the computer that you can flip through and reference. People find it way more valuable if they can take some notes, scribble things down. So please keep your binder up to date. We are going to have these 3-hour training sessions once a month, and yes, participation is really expected. So not necessarily in front of the whole group, but about a third of each class is going to be breakout rooms. And so if there's even one person who's not really participating, it really lets the rest of the group down. So we'd like you to participate. We'd also like you to use the concepts and tools between sessions. So once you learn things, you're going to get so much more value out of this course if you actually try it. And at the end of each session, you're going to be given some homework to do, tools to try, things to give it a shot. And then about 2 weeks later, you're going to have a one-on-one meeting with a coach. And ideally, part of that will be talking about how it went. When you used that tool or had that conversation, how did it go? Because if you can review that with your coach, they can get you to even the next level of even better and even more expertise with whatever topic it is that we're focused on. We'd also like you to attend those one-on-one sessions. So listen, the coaching is optional. You're not required. But if you say you're going to be there, we would love for you to show up, because otherwise we're sitting around waiting. It's very sad to sit in a Zoom room all by yourself. So please, if you're not going to be able to make it, give us some notice and try completing that homework after the sessions. As far as the one-on-one bit goes, people can sometimes get very nervous about this, about, oh, what's it going to be like? I've never had this before. Really, this is driven by you. Our one-on-one focus is really helping you to embed the learning that you've taken away from the workshop, but also to deal with whatever kind of management issues you're dealing with at that moment at work. The one-on-ones are confidential. And what that means is while we may internally at Bellrock talk about the challenges that you might be facing so we can come up with even better approaches, we're not going to share it with your boss. There's not going to be any reporting back. It is confidential. It's also supposed to be positive. We want to look at the bright side of things and be future focused. So think about what we can do in the future, not necessarily what's happened in the past. We're really trying to partner with you to help you achieve your goals. If you don't know what your goals are, that's okay. We can help you try and figure it out. And if you do know what your goals are professionally, please share them with us so we can help get you further along that path. In one-on-ones, we're going to challenge you. We're going to ask some tough questions. We're going to try and expand the perspective with which you're viewing whatever the challenges that you're facing so that we can come up with more alternatives and maybe come up with an even better solution. We might give you advice, honestly, because we're not 100% coaches. We're also consultants by training. All of us have worked in lots and lots of small businesses, helping them and coaching them and guiding them. So occasionally we do go on that advice trap. But what I can tell you is we're not physicians, we're not lawyers, we're not accountants, we're not giving you any of that kind of professional advice. So if we do suggest anything along those lines, please do talk to your professionals about that stuff. Bottom line, we're not going to set the agenda for your one-on-ones. That's over to you to do. We can give you some guidelines, but it's up to you to figure out what you want from that time. We're not going to evaluate your performance or measure your success because what does it matter what we think anyway? It's really all about what you think. And finally, I just want to reiterate, we won't be reporting back to your boss. So you don't have to worry about that. You can be open and forthcoming in those one-on-ones. So listen, tips and tricks to getting the most out of your training with Bellrock. First thing I'd say is book yourself 15 minutes the day before the session, the one-on-one session, to figure out what it is that you really want to focus on in that session. Coming with some sort of agenda will get you a lot more value out of that time together. Another piece of advice I'd give you is book 15 minutes the day after each class to just review the notes and what we went over. By reviewing it, you will lock it into your brain a lot better. You're going to get more value out of the 3 hours that you spent by investing that additional 15 minutes the next day. Do your pre-work. The pre-work is 10 or 15 minutes. It doesn't take a long time, but if you don't do it, you start class behind everyone else. And then sometimes it's harder to catch up. You don't get as much value from the session. Please participate in those breakout rooms. Again, that's where the value comes out. We routinely hear from people the most value they get out of the Bellrock training is in 2 places. It's the one-on-one sessions and the breakout rooms. Basically, you're going to have me as a talking head or somebody else on my team as a talking head for the training. We're going to tell you all these things. And then where it's going to get locked in is in the breakout rooms and the one-on-one sessions. So participate. And finally, please come back often. And what I mean by that is as a graduate of the program, which you will be, you're able to come back anytime at no cost to review the material in a class. We run these classes about 3 times a year, and you're welcome anytime to show up. So I really encourage you to take advantage of that because that takes you to the next level of practice and the next level of practice. This management thing, it's a practice, and it's also like an onion. There are layers. So I'm really excited to meet you where you are, whether you're a 20-year veteran who knows everything or whether you're getting slated for your first promotion, but you're not there yet. This class is good for all of you. Everybody is going to get value and learn some things, and we just can't wait to meet you. So welcome to Bellrock Training.